Hi, and thanks so much for joining us today for today's session, from competitors to collaborators. My name's Kate Anthony, and I work in national sales for Preferred Hotels and Resorts, and I have the pleasure to sell our portfolio of over 650 independent hotels and resorts across 85 countries. Today, I actually have the honor of moderating today's dialogue. I know that everyone has felt a lot of emotions over here, especially those of us in the hospitality industry. It's truly been a roller coaster. But luckily, we work in an industry that is very resilient and innovative. And there are some silver linings that have come out of this pandemic. And one of those silver linings is the realization that we are not that we are in this together, truly. It's not a COVID cliche, I promise. Many of us have found friendships and partnerships in unexpected places, and today we're going to explore one of those. Canvas meetings and incentives and JR Global events used to be competitors, and they were really able to shift their focus and their mindset this year and started to join forces in a way that really allowed both companies to experience successes and wins together, all while really looking out for each other and also learning from each other. So without further ado, I'd love to introduce Christian.
Thanks, Kate. So good to see you, by the way. Hi, my name is Christian Pardo. I'm the Director of Operations and a partner here at Canvas Meetings and Incentives. We're a third-party meeting management company. We've been in business for over 30 years, and I'm excited to dive in, talk to you, Stephanie, and really just reflect on what a crazy year it's been and how we got to this moment. So I'm glad to be here.
Right, thanks, Christian. I am Stephanie Kraswanski, and I am partner and COO of JR Global Events, and we're a Philadelphia area-based full-service meeting and event agency that does events all around the world. And in my role, I am in charge of all event operations and delivery of events to clients.
Thank you both so much. It's so good to see both of your smiling faces today. So let's dive right in. We'd like to start really reflecting about the last year. We're going to start with Christian. Can you tell me about some of the challenges you faced over the last year?
Definitely. Well, we had many weeks and days and hours. I could tell you all of them, but we have a short amount of time. So I think what sticks out for me is right off the bat, that massive pivot we had to experience going virtual. I know no one wants to hear the word pivot anymore, so I'm sorry for saying it twice already, but really the biggest challenge was it felt like overnight we had to become virtual event planners. So for us, that was this massive learning curve that felt like we had to get it done and we had to figure out what we were doing within 24 hours. That was the own pressure we kind of put on ourselves, but there was a huge learning curve of what is virtual? Virtual for us meant something different a few years ago than what we're seeing now. So that learning curve was intense, quick, challenging, and part of that, even the challenge for that pivot was understanding what people mean when they say virtual. A lot of our clients would come to us and say, we want to host a virtual event. We're like, awesome, great, what do you mean? For some people that meant a webinar. For some folks that was a 3-day multi-hour panel breakout conference of sorts. So there's so many ways to host a virtual webinar and or event and meeting. And so it just took us so much time to figure out, what do you mean? What do you want to see? What are your expectations? And then we kind of in the background were like, what does that mean we have to go do? It was just such a huge pivot for us. And the biggest challenge I think we faced was just understanding what we all meant. We were doing demos for things, and so that huge learning curve of what is a virtual event and figuring out and presenting ourselves like we know what we're doing was a huge challenge for us. What about you, Stephanie? Any challenges? None?
For us, I mean, obviously figuring out the virtual world was a huge challenge, and we'll talk more about that. But for us, the same for Canvas and for JR Global Events, we're small companies. We're 6, 7, 8 people companies. And, we just came off 2019 being the banner year of our company so far. And 2020 was just going to be better. I think we were 75% booked with our business previously from the year before. And it was amazing. And we were going to launch a new product called Expo, which we were finally so solid in our meetings and incentives business. We were going to launch a whole new line called Expo. It was going to be sponsorship and exhibitor management. We were so excited. We were planning about how many staff we're going to add for the year. We made financial investments into our company. So we really were in this growth pattern for it all to come just essentially crashing down on us 3 months into the year, 2 months into the year. And so for us, it was a huge challenge. And how do we take all that knowledge and all that excitement we had and then try to do something different with it? And being business owners, it just really was a bit of a struggle to be able to do that. And, you know, we're thinking it's only us, we're the only people in this position. Everyone else is fine. You know, and at the same time, we were trying to rebook 65 hotel contracts at the time. And it wasn't just us. Every time we'd call our hotel partners and our friends over the years, that this industry, we all become friends. You know, each time we made contact with that hotel, it was a new person. So one hotel contract could have had 5 contacts within weeks because people were being furloughed. Hopefully they started to come back to the industry, whatever it was. And so it was just that challenge of operating a business, the financial impact, plus also just the logistics of being able to rebook all of these contracts while also learning virtual events at the same time. So it was all that wrapped up into one.
Totally. We're in a similar situation, Stephanie, in 2019. We were like, we're going to double our business next year. We were so optimistic. We had hired 3 new planners, and, you know, we were overwhelmed in the way you want to be overwhelmed as an entrepreneur. That's what we drive. You know, I think under pressure, we're like, we can totally do this. And so we were so optimistic. January 1, here's all of our standing operating procedures. Here's all the things we're going to fix, and it's going to be amazing, and let's go. 3 months later, you know, we're devastated. And so being in a similar high, that emotional toll as a business owner was a challenge I, you know, maybe naive, didn't think I would experience. I knew there'd be hard highs and lows of a business owner and hard times for sure, but not so quick, not in this moment. You know, you can't really anticipate those, but it was such a low and still is in a way. But the emotional side was so tough, seeing where, you know, who you're working with and how that's changed so quickly. And like you said, reaching out to people who, you know, they're on your speed dial, you know, to call and they're right there, and then the number's disconnected. So totally bizarre. So many challenges that I can totally relate to.
And meeting professionals, you know, we are the masters of pretending like everything is fine, where really no one knows what really is happening, you know, how the sausage is being made. Like nobody knows that. And so it was really a difficult position for us to be in.
Definitely.
It's true. The highs are so high and the lows have been so low. So it's unbelievable all that you both have been through. And it would have been so easy for you to fall into despair or even get really angry at having this crisis thrown at you. But knowing both of your personalities, neither of you are the type to sit back and watch things around you crumble. Besides, we all know that the best event professionals always have a backup plan. So starting with you, Stephanie, what did you do to refocus your efforts and your energy to overcome some of these challenges that you ran into?
Well, you know, once we dusted ourselves off, you know, we were, like I was saying, going to launch this new leg of business. And so Jen and I put our heads together, Jennifer Ross, my business partner, and we said, wait a minute, we can launch something new, right? It's just not the same thing. And so what we did very early on, a doctor of doing the fun side of virtual. And so we launched 2 different products, one called Social, and that was the fun side of virtual events. So we were still doing, you know, full virtual events for clients, but we were also doing happy hours. We had some really fun stuff, like we had a voodoo queen, a voodoo priestess from New Orleans do events for us. We did dry clean bingo, horse racing. We actually have one this week on a Jamaican rum tasting. I mean, so we're still out there doing all of these things, but we really wanted to take the fun side of it and really expand those parts of our business. And the other part is called Gift. And Gift is curated gifting experiences that went along with Social, but that's how it started. So it was, here's your event and here's the gift box that goes with it, to straight up gifting, corporate gifting for clients. Back in December, we sent 500 bottles of bourbon maple syrup out for a client. We would have never thought that a year ago. That's what we would be doing in December, is sending out 500 syrup and pancake mixes. So that was a big part of what we were able to do. And then another part was, you know, we really just were able to refine some of our processes and procedures. We had some time. We had some time to sit back and evaluate our business in general and make sure what we were doing was the right way to do it.
Lots of time for sure.
Always busy. I don't know why, but
so much time. But I did attend the JR Global's social live, and I did do some drag bingo and saw their live DJ. So as a planner of a virtual event, I really wanted to attend something that I didn't have to plan. So that was my outlet of having fun. So thanks, Stephanie, and your team. I think one of the biggest things that even is bringing us into this conversation, and specifically Stephanie and I, is my business partner, Kelly Gallagher, said, hey, you know, we can't be the only ones going through this. Like, yes, everyone's having a hard time, and especially our industry, but specifically a small business like us, this massive pivot, this overnight shift, like we can't be the only ones freaking out behind the scenes. So she said, I'm going to call, you know, Jennifer Ross, Stephanie over at JR and see if they're open to a conversation, see if they want to chat and just kind of get to know us and talk through things. And we were a little hesitant, you know, they're competitors of ours. And traditionally in the past, we've never spoken in the way of full transparency and sharing business practices. We've seen each other at events, we're friends, we're friendly, but it wasn't this, there was a boundary for sure, which I think is very standard in our industry, especially in our business size. And so long story short, Kelly called JR. We had a nice little intro call. It was a little, you know, who are you and what are you up to? And do you want to tell us? And sure, we'll tell you a little bit. And then we talked the next week and we shared a little bit more. And then we talked the next week and then we kind of clued in brought in another third-party meeting management company, similar size as the two of us. And that turned into a weekly call, which is now a weekly happy hour because of course, but we connect weekly. And it started off as this, let's just share thoughts and see if we're not the only ones kind of going a little crazy. And it turned into this extremely intimate, transparent think tank. And we now looked at JR and our other partners as thought partners and people who have helped us look at our business strategies. Are we doing the best business strategies? Are we doing the best practices, especially coming from the pivot of virtual? And hey, we're all feeling this is insane, right? Okay, good. And it was this collective feeling of we are totally in this together. They feel what we feel. We're not alone. Oh my gosh, this feels so good. And I can talk to someone who speaks my language, who speaks the love and the passion of event logistics and for the hospitality industry and wanting to have that best experience for our clients and their attendees. So that whole think tank and conversation really turned into, okay, there are competitors, like we have to do better than them too. We want them to be here when this is over. We want to still have these competitors when this is done, and hopefully that's soon. And so now we view ourselves as collaborators because we truly feel that's how it's been going. So I don't know, Stephanie, if you have any similar feel from how we've all gotten together on this.
No, it's been amazing. And, you know, honestly, we all signed non-disclosure agreements and off we went. I mean, we were sharing things to each other about our businesses that we would have never thought to share with somebody. And we were really open books and we learned so much. You know, everyone had their own strengths and we really learned from one another. And it was, now we've shared business. We've got some partnerships of like business we're working on together. We've shared vendor information. You know, JR Global really pushed Cadence and our other partner into getting into the gifting. We're like, do it, trust us, you have to do it. And now they're doing it. And so it's a really important part of what we've done over the past year and becomes a really great revenue stream. But we really all have just the ability to be transparent and talk about the things that we were struggling with. A lot of talk about staffing, conversations you couldn't have with other than with your business partner about the people that were working for you. So it was really invaluable.
Totally. There was even one point where I think it was middle of the summer. It was that crazy time where everyone's demoing every, you know, virtual platform and product that exists. And at one point we had a shared document with 200 rows of all of these technologies and tools to support virtual. And we were like, who's going to go through all this? And it really just gave us like the manpower to say, you take these and we'll take these and we're going to demo and we're going to share out what we really think and what's the best and the worst of these products. And shout out to Cadence for helping a lot of our clients kind of jump onto that platform bandwagon that really serviced all of their needs. But there was a long list, and I don't know if anyone else out there felt that was very overwhelming to do and to really become an expert on and say, well, what is this product? And then translate that to your clients saying, oh, here's what it does. I know everything. And their products are constantly changing. And so it really just gave us a support system to say, can you take some of this? I'll do some of this. We'll all do our part and really share out the best of the best and how to really elevate the virtual experience for everyone's attendees. So lots of hard work went into that. Like Stephanie said, full transparency, and what a joy it was because we've profited, we've made, again, friendships, and it was just a really good time.
Yeah.
And then one other way I think that, at least for Canvas, we overcame a little bit of that burden of being that virtual expert and kind of pivoting from our pride and joy of in-person meetings was we've really changed our perspective on how we either engage our clients and how our operations work. And kind of meeting that we viewed ourselves traditionally as we're planners, we're going to get this done, execute at a high level, and just do it and do it well and enjoy it. But we've really turned into like consultants. A lot of our clients have come to us saying, hey, we want to do a virtual event. It's 3 days, just like our in-person one. And we're like, oh my gosh, 3 days. No one wants to be on their computers anymore, especially for 3 full days. And so we've taken that role and said, you know what if we change that? What if we do a day and a half? What if we do one day? I know it sounds scary and it's only 2 hours, but we really pack in that content in an intentional and authentic way. So we've been more of a consultancy, even at the start of a lot of our clients' events, saying, here's what we've seen in the industry that works well. Here's what people are enjoying. Here's where folks feel burnt out a little bit. We don't really need 6 hours of a DJ. I would love that, but not everyone would. So we've really turned into that like consultancy vibe to help our clients really do the best, spend their money the right ways, invest their time in the right ways, just to be successful. So that was another way we hopefully overcame some of those pain points of what are we doing and what do they want us to do. So
it's true. I mean, I believe that the last year has been a time that we all have learned, and our clients are learning too. So being that consultant has really probably given you quite an edge. And it sounds like every single day gave you new lessons. And then now it's just about taking those lessons and taking them to heart to future events. So thank you for all of this insight. So if you had to sum up some of your lessons learned from the past years, what are some of your key takeaways? And are there things that maybe you wouldn't do again? And are there things that really you sit back and you were just really proud of that your company accomplished? Stephanie, we're going to kick it off with you.
I will say one thing I can tell you for sure, I still love being a business owner. One of the things Jennifer and I said to ourselves all year long, even as we're struggling to come up with creative ideas and things like that, was, hey, at least we still own our own business. And I can't imagine doing anything else. But one of the things being business owners that we learned this year is a lot about our team and what they were willing to do and what they were willing not to do. And being able to look at that and really play to people's strengths. And if somebody didn't, work with them to give them something to do that they wanted to, but also being quite honest with everybody and say, listen, we're all in this to get through the year. You want to get paid, we want to get paid. We have too many obligations out there. And so we've really just learned a lot about our team and who had that entrepreneurial spirit, who didn't, and how they can most effectively get us back to where we are, starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. And it was eye-opening. Everyone felt bought in, which was awesome. And so we're just really excited to see what this team that has stuck with us through the whole year, whether that was at sometimes on furlough, at sometimes doing jobs they had no idea they thought they would ever do. Really excited to see what they're going to bring to the table in 2021 and beyond.
Totally. The same thing with being a business owner. I think as a business owner, you're expected to wear all those hats and just do what you have to. But when it comes to your team, you've hired people for certain reasons. And when that kind of changes or looks a bit different, it's so hard to kind of to catch up on that and make sure that everyone is happy and doing well. And so shout out to my team as well for really just pivoting with us and saying, all right, here we go. Let's learn it. Let's do it. We don't have to be perfect, but make sure we're learning along the way. And so, so I agree. Something that's a good takeaway. Similar is to what I was saying about collectively working with our think tank and just the massive collaboration we experienced was competitors, don't have to be scary. Just because you don't know them or they look on the outside that they have it all together, doesn't mean you can't approach them and be honest and authentic. I think before this, we were saying everyone here is against us. That is not working for us. And as competitors, we have to be better than them. We have to kind of show out in this way and really understanding how Stephanie and her team works and our other partners we've collaborated with and creating that safe space has just really shown us like this is a fantastic industry. It is all about people, and once you meet the right ones, they're friends forever. And so we've really gone from I don't really know you, you're a collaborator, to we are lifelong friends. We're already planning trips together that aren't even work related, and so it's really just turned into something that we just didn't even expect. That's really been beneficial for me personally, for our business, and so that's my biggest takeaway.
Thank you both so much. You ladies are amazing. I could talk to you all day. You're so inspirational, and I feel like I've learned so much during our time together today. And thank you so much again to Cadence for hosting this event. You guys two are great partners. So the headline for today's conversation for me was "We Overcame." How did they do it? Well, first, they came together with competitors and they collaborated on all of their best practices. They added new services, promotional products, and box fulfillment. And when they just learned the lesson of when the opportunity of a new skill is present, jump on it. You have to be open-minded to new work opportunities. And they talked about how they shared knowledge about virtual events, platform information. They really went from being planners to consultants for some clients that really didn't know what they needed. And again, they were completely transparent and talked about their struggles. And they really made sure that they took care of not only themselves, but also their companies. As business owners, especially around competitors, it's natural to want to put up a fence and really put a happy face on, but the honesty within their think tank really helped them not feel so isolated, and it helped them get through it, and also some revenue, which also helps too. And to all of you, thank you for your support and thank you for being with us today. I hope you leave today with a reminder that you are not alone. There are so many people around you, yes, even your competitors, that would jump in quickly and help you or be your sounding board or give you some ideas. Please leave a comment for us below with your favorite aha moment from today's time together. Share with us what's inspired you. We're excited to hear how you're planning to use some of these lessons learned and how you're going to implement them in your daily activities. Thank you. Make it a great day.
Thanks, Stephanie.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.